If you're my age and you lived in the UK, you probably grew up with Aardman Animation. This small-time plasticine animation company that grew a huge company in a tiny place in the UK. Aardman grew a name for themselves with their most famous IP, Wallace and Gromit, popular for its witty British humour and great characters. And then in 2008, Aardman collaborated with DreamWorks to produce Flushed Away. It was the last film that the two companies did together after Flushed Away underperformed at the box office. It's been a few years and I still have this film on DVD and I remember enjoying it for many years. But now, as an adult, does this film hold up or does it deserve to be flushed down the toilet? Hi there, it's me, the Average Critic. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Apologies, this video is incredibly late, but not only have I been playing the absolute shit out of Hogwarts Legacy, that game is freaking amazing, but I recently started dating an amazing girl, and yeah, we're kind of in the honeymoon stage, so very much distracted. I won't say anymore. But let's talk about Flushed Away, Aardman's most unique film. One thing Aardman have always done well is its characters, and Flushed Away is no exception. Despite in this film the characters aren't incredibly fleshed, but they are all fun. Hugh Jackman does a great job as Roddy, his accent is surprisingly on point, Ian McKellen is having so much fun as the Toad, and it almost makes you think why Ian McKellen hasn't done more voice work, because that voice just booms off the screen. And then you have classics like Andy Serkis and Bill Nighy, all these wonderful British actors which I love, bringing all the classic sense of wit and humour to these characters. I really loved that. These characters aren't groundbreaking, but everyone is having fun with the characters they have. Voices all feel fleshed out and enjoyable. Characters all feel like a stereotype from another film, but in such a fun way. To the designs of the rat henchman, the frog is always wearing a cream trench coat, and of course the Toad pulls from the likes of James Bond, The Godfather, and just the pure voice that is Ian McKellen. Flushed Away really pulls into fun stereotypes, which I really love. The dramatic and classic English villain in The Toad, and a hilarious performance from Jean Reno as Le Frog, who has all the stereotypes as a French person. And even smaller characters like Rita's family, her dad just looks like every British dad I've ever seen. Similar to what I said in the Wallace and Gromit review, there are so much British layers in this film that I wonder if anyone outside of the UK actually notices these little details. They certainly make me laugh. Rita's boat being called the Jammy Dodger, which is a great name for a boat, all adds to the style we expect from Aardman. But even though the characters are all fun and enjoyable to watch, they are not groundbreaking. This was the problem in the 2000s with animation, is that animation was kind of everywhere. Not only did you have Disney dominating with films like Princess and the Frog and Lilo and Stitch, but Pixar had some of their best work coming out with Ratatouille and The Incredibles. There was Ice Age, Shrek of course, and even the SpongeBob SquarePants movie. The 2000s was a great time for animation, and it was happening very fast. Disney weren't the only animation company, and the competition was fierce. Companies were trying to cash in on the family entertainment that was animated movies, and Flushed Away is no exception. But it does so successfully. You can feel the humour forcing its way through because there are jokes absolutely everywhere in this film. The jokes all hit very well, do not get me wrong, this film is incredibly funny, especially if you're British. But there's not much breathing room. There is always a joke on screen, and it very much reflects the time period of easy family entertainment, and that's what Flushed Away is all about. It's a family fun adventure movie, and it's an incredible ride to be on. The music also reflects this as well. Flushed Away for the most part pulls from popular music, and does have a great soundtrack. The opening tune, Dancing With Myself, really captures the character of Roddy, and of course the end with the wonderful song Proud Mary, which ends the film. All the songs work great in this movie. There isn't much of an original score in this film, but when it does pull through, it's fine, I guess. It's nothing memorable, but when you have all these pop songs, you're not going to think much about the original score. Although Ice Cold Rita being an improvisational song from Hugh Jackman is incredibly funny. But I've said this before in other videos, when you use pop songs in your film, it creates a very specific style. It takes away any serious tones your movie might have in favour of action and adventure, and Flushed Away always purposefully does this. The action sequences are fun, and it does so on purpose. It does have a nice character arc of Roddy being lonely, but isn't necessarily a theme for the movie. It wants to take you and the whole family on a fun adventure movie, and you kind of enjoy that. You're having fun, and you're along for the ride. So Flushed Away does something incredibly unique in that instead of using stop motion animation like Aardman were used to, they scan the animation into a computer due to water being very damaging towards plasticine. so the characters still look like classic Aardman characters, but it's in a computer. And for the time, the animation is pretty incredible. Even now, its incredibly unique animation style, I can't think of many movies that have been done like this. That being said, the animation, particularly now, it is a little bit outdated. It's still a milestone in animation history as it is incredibly unique. But one thing I always loved about the original Wallace and Gromit was seeing the fingerprints on the animation on the characters. It gave them such depth, and you almost felt like you could reach out and touch it. In Flushed Away, everything is way too clean and smooth, and sadly, clay-like is the word I would use. So despite the animation not looking incredible in 2023, at the time, it was good, and it doesn't look bad. It just hasn't aged well. But it has fun characters, an enjoyable story, and a great soundtrack. So why was this Aardman's first box office failure? Similar to what I said, competition was high at the time. When it comes to animation companies, Aardman still to this day aren't massively well known compared to something like Disney or Pixar. As much as the casting of Hugh Jackman as your lead is definitely a good casting choice, you can also see they needed to hire a big Hollywood actor to help promote the movie in America. It's a shame their collaboration with DreamWorks had to end because you can tell Aardman don't have the capital to compete, especially now, as I do believe Aardman have some of the best animators and writers in the animation business. Just look at Chicken Run for Christ's sake. But in a world where Disney is starting to own absolutely everything, it wouldn't surprise me if this tiny little company, which is really close to me, bites the dust in a few years. Let's hope not. But Flushed Away serves as a benchmark for Aardman, as much as it was the last film they collaborated with DreamWorks on, the animation, despite not holding up immensely well today, at the time it was an incredible and artistic way of animating the film, and it is really interesting in its animation style. It catches the style of Aardman we are very much used to, but due to underperforming at the box office, DreamWorks pulled out of their collaboration with Aardman. And let's be honest, that is a dick move, DreamWorks. But Flushed Away, despite being quite basic and easily predictable at times, it is a fun watch, and it truly makes you laugh. And if a film succeeds at making you laugh, then it succeeds. So after all that, it gets my professional rating of 7 out of 10. And my personal rating of 7 out of 10 as well. I probably won't find myself watching Flushed Away intentionally, but if this film is ever on TV and there's nothing else on, it will always be damn entertaining. So thank you for joining me in this video. Let me know in the comment section what you thought of Flushed Away. Have you seen this movie? I know a lot of people haven't. But thank you for joining me. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for more great content on all your favorite animated movies. And be sure to follow me on all my social media platforms as well. But thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you all in the next one.